This is Mac OS Ken.
The EU's antitrust chief meets with Tim Cook, Apple preps Vision Pro buyers, and music to wait for football through. It is Monday, the 15th of January, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Coda, your all-in-one collaborative workspace. Get started for free and get a $1,000 credit at coda.io/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. The head of the European Union's antitrust arm met last week with the head of Apple. A piece from Apple Insider says the EU's Margherita Vestager met with Apple CEO Tim Cook last Thursday. It was part of a trip to Silicon Valley that also saw her meeting with execs from Broadcom, Google, and NVIDIA. No statement from Apple on the meeting, and no big statement from the EU either, though Vestager did post about the meeting on Twitter. Gross. Two main points from my meeting with Tim Cook, said the EU officer: compliance with Digital Markets Act, for example, Apple's obligation to allow the distribution of apps outside the App Store, and ongoing EU competition cases, for example, Apple Music. The tweet included a picture of the two, apparently at Apple Park, smiling and shaking hands. I think you're evil. I think you're evil. Want to get a picture? Each may not actually think the other is evil, but wow. I mean, which one of them wanted that picture? Seriously. The big news on the very near horizon for Apple is the release of Apple Vision Pro. Orders for those begin this Friday, the 19th of January at 5 a.m. Pacific. And a piece from Mac Rumors has Apple advising people planning to order on how to get ready. First, the company says you will need an iPhone or iPad with Face ID at the ready. According to Apple, when you order Apple Vision Pro, you'll need to scan your face with an iPhone or iPad with Face ID. This helps Apple determine the right size light seal and headbands, which work together to give you a precise fit. Second, Mac Rumor says you'll want to make sure the Apple Store app on the iPhone or iPad you're using is up to date, since only the most recent app supports face scanning for Apple Vision Pro orders. You will want version 5.22 or later, I guess. That version came out last Thursday. Third, if you're wanting the Zeiss prescription lens inserts, you'll have to upload a valid, unexpired prescription from a U.S. eye care professional after checkout. First orders should go out on Friday, the 2nd of February. One of the most interesting things to see will be how quickly orders stretch and for how long out they run. Late last week, TF International analyst Ming-Chi Kuo predicted a fast sellout. That's partly because of the large number of Apple early adopters. It's also due in part to the small number of devices expected to be available out of the gate. The analyst checks indicate that Apple will have somewhere between 60,000 and 80,000 units ready for launch. Another interesting thing to see will be the device itself. We've already talked about how in-store demos, running Friday the 2nd of February through Sunday the 4th, are happening on a first-come, first-served basis. It sounds like the wait might take quite a while. That's partly because who knows how many people will show up ahead of you, partly because it's unclear how many demo units the average store will have, and partly because of the whole process. Not only are demos said to run from 20 to 25 minutes, but there's a whole wind-up before the demonstration pitch. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman wrote about it Sunday for his Power On newsletter. According to Gurman, the largest stores will have over a dozen demo stations. By definition, though, most of them can't be the largest stores, so who knows how many your store will have. Once you're in, there are still several steps. They're said by the write-up to include having your face scanned so that demonstrators know which of the 2 foam cushions and 25 light seals are right for you, having your glasses scanned if you wear them so demonstrators can insert the right inserts for you, and having the interface explained, including how to control the pointer using your eyes, how to gesture to make selections, how to hold the headset, how to adjust the fit dial on the main headband, and how to use the digital crown for moving between virtual and augmented reality. Once it's on your head, you'll need to calibrate the device with various tracking and tapping exercises so it can follow your eyes and hands. It is only after all of that the 25 minutes of demo get going. That is said to include viewing photos, viewing spatial photos and spatial video, using Apple Vision Pro as a computer or iPad replacement, viewing 3D and immersive movies, including clips of wild animals, the ocean, and sports, and trying out preloaded third-party apps that should be ready to roll on day one. It honestly doesn't sound like a lot, which may be by design. According to Gurman, Apple's intention is to give users an experience that's compelling but not exhausting, ideally leaving them itching for more. Believe it or not, you may be able to walk out of the Apple Store on the 2nd of February with a third-party accessory for Apple Vision Pro. A piece from Apple Insider says Belkin is working on a clip for the headset's external battery pack. Citing Gurman's Power On newsletter, the piece says Belkin will put the accessory on sale when Apple Vision Pro goes on sale, meaning an early February launch. It will also be sold in Apple stores, making it one of the few officially sanctioned accessories for the headset. No word on how much the clip will cost. More news in a moment, but first I am very happy to welcome a new sponsor to macOS Can. It is Coda. Coda lets you and your crew weave all of the threads of your business together in one place. Teams like yours rely on Coda to make sure everyone is on the same page. Literally. By bringing together the best of documents, spreadsheets, and apps into one platform, Coda stops you from ping-ponging between different tabs and tools. Great for collaborating with remote colleagues, Coda helps centralize the work you're doing, the tools you are using, and the knowledge you need. With Coda, you can manage your planning cycles in one location, and you will always be in sync, communicating and collaborating instantly on documents, roadmaps, and more. If you want a platform that empowers your startup to strategize, plan, and track goals effectively, you can get started with Coda today for free and get a $1,000 credit at coda.io/macOScan. That's a special limited time offer for startups, and that means you can begin planning right now at no cost. That's coda.io/macOScan to get started for free and get a $1,000 credit. You can't beat that price. I really dig Coda, and I think you will too. Check it out today, coda.io/macOScan. It's not the roughly 300 layoffs expected at Pixar, nor the 500 plus Amazon's laying off at Twitch, but a reorganization at Apple is likely to lead to some job loss. The headline from Cult of Mac says, Apple's reorganization efforts within Siri team leading to layoffs. I may be splitting hairs, but I don't think layoffs is exactly right. Affected folks are being given a choice. Granted, not necessarily an easy one. According to the report, Apple is shutting down its data operations Annotations office in San Diego and merging employees who are willing to relocate with their teammates in Texas. The piece says the data operations Annotations group works on improving Siri by listening to user queries and ensuring the assistant heard it properly. They've got offices in cities around the world, so that number is going down by one. The good news is they would be moving to Austin. The bad news is it's nowhere near the ocean, which San Diego very much is. I'm not saying that's the only consideration, but it would be a big one for some, not to mention plenty of other considerations. The news is said to have come as a surprise to affected workers who had apparently been told that they would be going from one location to another in San Diego. Citing a Bloomberg report, the piece says the 121 affected workers have until the end of February to say yay or nay. People who make the move will get a $7,000 stipend to make it happen. People looking for the exit will get 4 weeks of severance and an additional week of pay for every year worked from Apple, according to the report, plus 6 months of health insurance coverage. And finally today, the old calendar on the wall needs to be taken down for a new one. And that new one should have the Super Bowl on it. Super Bowl 57 is under a month away. Apple Music produces the halftime show for that, and Apple Music is promoting that halftime show. iLounge says the streaming music service has shared a playlist created by Usher, star of this year's Super Bowl halftime extravaganza. Called My Road to Halftime, the playlist features such artists as Usher, go figure, Jay-Z, Ludacris, Eminem, Usher, Outkast, Frank Sinatra, The Killers, Usher, and more, including more Usher. Apple Music shared the playlist on Twitter. Gross. Along with a promotional video that included such celebrities as Jungkook from BTS and NBA phenom LeBron James, as well as a choir, a marching band, some kids, and of course, Usher. Super Bowl 57 takes place on Sunday, the 11th of February. The halftime show will take place roughly halfway through the game. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Coda. Get started for free and get a $1,000 credit at coda.io/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.